Hello. If we don't know each other yet, my name is Maya. I turned 50 earlier this year, and uh, I'm going to talk today about confidence. And I just hesitated, and I want to explain a little bit why this is not edited. It's because I'm taking this challenge that I have adopted from, let me check her name because I don't want to say it wrong. Carla Kyla Carlisle. And she said, when you're new to talking in front of the camera, it's a good idea to just chat and chat and chat for 10, 20 minutes nonstop to build your confidence, because it's quite unnatural for most people, and for me as well, to stare into this box camera. For me, it's just my phone. I'm not even sure where to look at I have three different cameras. Which one is the one to look at? I'm not sure. So this is the challenge that I'm taking to build my confidence, which matches perfectly what I want to talk about today, which is confidence. And in a previous video, I said I'm going to talk about the relationship that we have with ourselves. So that's exactly part of the relationship we have with ourselves, is building confidence. I'm going to check my notes every now and then to see if I'm on track, if I'm saying what I wanted to say. And I want to start with that relationship with ourselves. I want to start with something that I teach in a course that I'm teaching right now. It's called Unlocked. And when we talk about the relationship we have with ourselves, we talk about three important components. Those components are self-love, just a second, I know this one from the top of my brain. Self-love, self-esteem, and self-confidence, or in other words, confidence. Now, a few things I'm getting asked about this. First of all, what's the difference between confidence and self-esteem? So the way I see it is that confidence is when we know we are good at a specific area. So there could be lots of different areas in your lives that you feel quite confident, and other areas in your lives that you don't feel confident about. For example, I feel super confident with talking on stages around probably about 50 to 100 people. I'm very confident, but more than that, I haven't tried yet and I'm not sure. And I'm not very confident yet talking in front of the camera. That's what I'm building right now. Next thing is self-esteem. Self-esteem is how we appreciate ourselves as a whole, as a human being, so not just in a specific area. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I've cleared that question. Now, the next question that people tend to ask me is, actually, no, it's not more a question, it's more like a statement. I don't want to become overconfident, or I don't want to be too loving to myself. So I want to reassure you, if you don't feel confident, if you don't feel enough love towards yourself, you are never going to be too loving towards yourself. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as being too confident. And you might say, oh, but I've seen overly confident people and I don't like how they behave. Well, I'm going to ask you, if you don't like their behavior because they're acting as if they're too confident or overconfident or over-loving, I'm talking about, the narcissistic type of personalities, is it because they're really too loving to themselves? Or is it because they don't actually love themselves at all and they mask it? So if they're overconfident, is that really because they're overconfident, or are they masking the fact that they feel unconfident? Just ponder about this, because my understanding and the way I interact with people showed me that people can't become too loving towards themselves, and they can't really be overconfident in any specific area. They just can behave in ways that can demonstrate like as if they're overconfident. So getting this out of the way, the question is, how do we develop more confidence? And I did say the relationship we have with ourselves is governed by these three pillars that we talked about before. So that's self-love, self-esteem, and confidence. But today I'm specifically talking about confidence because you can see how I am not very confident in front of the camera. I'm talking rubbish. Well, I don't know what I'm going to say next. So I'm going to look at my notes, see? I'm pretty sure I do remember this, but I want to check anyway. Yes. So what I want to emphasize is that confidence is not a trait. It's not an attribute. It's not something that we either have or don't have. It's something that we can work on. It's something that we can develop. And it's something that changes, almost like mood. So today, I don't feel very confident talking in front of this camera because, what if someone's actually going to walk in and hear me and look at me like I'm this strange person? And I also don't feel confident because I haven't done it enough. I haven't practiced. So once I will practice and I'll put all these videos of unedited videos of me blabbing along to the camera, talking all these things, saying all these things, I'm sure, 100% sure, my confidence will increase until at one stage I'll feel totally natural talking in front of a camera and, being blinded by the sun. It's a bit too sunny. Anyway, it's fine. Next time I'll position my camera in a different way. So, what was I saying? Confidence. Yeah, it can build. So different areas in your life, if there's something in your life that you don't feel confident in, and you notice that it's blocking you from progressing. For example, I didn't feel confident talking in front of this camera, and I noticed it's blocking me from showing up, from giving my gifts to the world, from being on YouTube. So that's when I decided it's time for me to start working on it, which is obviously what I'm doing now. By the way, I'm not promising this video is going to stay on YouTube forever, because once I do develop that confidence and once I become this hugely successful, millions of followers, thousands of views 2 seconds after I've uploaded a video, when that stage happens, I have a feeling I might delete these videos, but maybe not. We'll see. So yeah, the challenge is to do, 10, 20, 30 videos like this, unedited, completely unedited. I might edit it if there's a person coming by, but maybe not. Or if there's a loud truck noise or a bird or a dog or something, who knows? Yeah, so I was talking about that confidence that I'm now building, and by doing this, I'm basically demonstrating to you that everyone can do it. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. So if there's an area in your life that you feel a lack of confidence is what blocking you from improving it, it's time for you to check how to build that confidence, how to make it better for yourself, how to be better at what you do in order to improve that specific area in your life. And so I gave you that example of the YouTube, but also I'm thinking about, my previous profession. I was working as a payroll officer. I'm not sure if you know what it is. Doesn't really matter. But my confidence was up to a certain level. I felt like, I'm good enough with doing it up to a certain level, but I didn't feel confident enough to progress into the further level, becoming like a senior role. And I could have developed that confidence. I could have continued and learned more. But at the end of the day, I decided it's not actually my passion. I don't really want to be working in the payroll industry my entire life. And I shifted, and now I'm doing personal growth, which is much more in line with my passions. It's what I've been doing personally all my life, since pretty much I can remember myself. Okay, the next thing I haven't mentioned yet, it's a little bit about languaging. So languaging is not perfect. We speak, and talking is a great way for communicating with each other, but it's limited, it has limitations. And more than that, sometimes the way we speak about things generally, guess what just happened? I finished recording the video and I looked back at my camera, which is my phone. I'm recording this on my phone. And what I realized is that I didn't press the pause button or the stop buttons, but there was an alarm coming on my phone, something to learn, disable the alarms before starting recording the videos. And then the video stopped. But I also noticed it's been almost 10 minutes already. So wow, I'm quite shocked that I have the capacity to blurb about things for 10 minutes. So I watched the very end of the video to see where I stopped, and I realized I was talking about the languaging. And I was mentioning how languaging is limited because, yes, it's very great, it's helpful, we communicate this way, we have words to express amazing ideas. But language can also hinder us, and it's just a map to reality, it's not reality. And one of the things that it can hinder us is by giving us the wrong impressions. For example, confidence. Most of us tend to just use the phrase, I am not confident, or I am confident. Even some people might say, I am not confident about something, or I am confident about something. But this is not really representing the truth. This is just an interesting, it makes us think that confidence is constant, that I'm either that or I'm not that. I'm either confident or I'm not confident. However, in reality, confidence is something that we build. Confidence is something that we sometimes have, sometimes we don't have. So, for example, right now I'm building the confidence of speaking in front of the camera. Dang, it's because I stopped in the middle, I'm not even sure what I already said, so I might repeat myself, who knows. Yeah, so a much more accurate way of describing reality around confidence would be if we said to someone, right now, I don't feel the confidence to do something, or right now, I feel super confident to do something. And so this would be more accurate. This would be a way to describe reality. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a very noisy plane, which I'm going to try and ignore and continue to talk and assume that you can't hear it too loudly and that my microphone works well enough. It's a super fancy one. I like it. It's very fluffy. I won't touch it because you will go like... Anyway, I get distracted, but I like it. I was saying about languaging, a more accurate way of describing confidence is to say to someone, I feel confident about this right now. And I also wanted to say that sometimes feeling confident, it's not just developing a specific skill of something, so I would feel more confident. Sometimes our confidence levels could be impacted by simple things like having a bad mood. If I have a bad mood, I might not feel confident enough to stand up and talk in front of 100 people. But when I have a good mood, that confidence is back again. And even something as simple as, not having a good night's sleep, it might change my confidence levels. I might feel a bit less confident to talk in front. How about we say I talk in front like 1,000 people? Yeah, I like that. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going there. So maybe if I didn't have a really good night's sleep, my confidence would plummet. So that's that thing. Now, I can't remember if you already heard me say, or if the video stopped before I said that we want to work on our confidence levels if we notice that a lower confidence level stops us from doing something that we really want to do. So in my example, if I notice that I don't feel the confidence of talking in front of the camera unedited and I'm talking rubbish, then I won't pursue my dreams of creating this beautiful, supportive community on YouTube that we share and teach each other how to be better human beings. I won't do that. So right now, I am on that journey of building that confidence of talking in front of a camera, talking to this box, which is my phone, and, whatever. I think I did say that before. So, well, you know what? They also say repetitive if you hear something again and again, it's a really good way of learning it. So, if I say something twice, 3 times, it's fine. You might be bored, but at least you know that you already know it, which that's probably a good sign. I'm going to check my notes again to see what I wanted to say about confidence. Okay, yeah, I talked about lack of confidence. Sorry, I talked about languaging. And I talked about mood. I talked about how we can develop confidence, but we can also notice that our confidence shifts. And so this is why it's more accurate to say, right now, I don't feel confident to do blah, blah, or right now, I feel super confident to do blah, blah, instead of I am not confident. And also just reminding ourselves that when I say something like, oh, I'm not confident to do this, when I say it without realizing, I'm boxing myself in that box of being an unconfident. What's the right word of saying? You tell me. Write in the comments, yeah. So I don't feel that if instead of saying right now I don't feel confident, and instead I'm going to say I'm not confident, I'm somehow cementing it into my brain, telling myself that I'm not about to develop that confidence. It's just a static state of mind. And I don't want to do it to myself. So it's really good idea, at least when you think in your own head. It's more difficult when we talk to other people to convey this, but at least when you notice in your own head, you're telling yourself, oh, I'm not confident, change it and tell yourself, oh, I'm not confident yet. I'm working on my confidence. I want to become, actually, I'm becoming confident. No, I just want to, because that's not helpful enough. Instead, you say, I'm becoming confident. I think I've managed to talk pretty much about everything I wanted to in regards to confidence. So now I will also tell you that what I'm doing right now with this channel is I'm realizing my dreams of making this world a better place by creating supportive, energizing communities. And even though I've just turned 50, I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting from scratch, and I am confident. That's a positive thing to say, yeah? I am confident. I have the confidence, or I feel right now, I feel a lot of confidence. That's the most accurate way that I should say it, right? Right now, I feel super excited and confident about this whole concept. And I think at some stage it will take off. When it will, I might delete this video. And our community will just grow, and we'll support each other and help each other realizing our own dreams. That's everything, who would want a better life, right? That's the best you can have it. What's the next thing? That's it. I've talked about confidence, and I could talk about the next video. I'll see if I have enough things to say about self-love, how to love ourselves better. Not sure yet. I'll have to think about it. And yeah, leave me a comment, because that's how we build, that's how we grow communities. We communicate, we interact with each other. Leave me a comment. Tell me that I suck. Well, don't tell me that I suck. Tell me that I'm improving. Tell me that it was interesting. Tell me that you've learned something new, or share what what you're doing to increase your confidence levels. Tell me how you're working on your dreams. I really like to know. I really want this community to grow and thrive and change the world for the better. See you then.